Hey Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And I am joined by Kristi Gorski today. She serves the Chicago area suburbs, and I'm excited to get to talk to her. She's actually been on the podcast before, and she shared a little bit of her journey, the beginning part of her journey of building a micro team. And she's had a baby since then. She has hired a few people. We'll kind of get into the details of that, but she's on the other side of it and she's building it and she's experiencing the benefits. So we wanted to bring her back on so we could talk through that. Well, Kristi, welcome back to the podcast. We're excited to have you again. So why don't we just go ahead and start where we left off? Why don't you spoke?
Sure. And I don't know if I've actually been on the podcast.
I really thought you had. I'll have to double check.
Yeah, but we've chatted. So, so I think last time I was in the micro teams class, and that was in 2023. I had just had baby number 3 at that time. And so that must have been like spring 2023. And I was just getting started on building my team. So now fast forward, baby number 4 is here. And I'm the team leader and I have my team, building and still more to build, but I'm in the process.
Wow. I'm still kind of stuck, I guess, on your last baby that you had just had the baby. Now, did you join the program when you were pregnant or you had already had your baby?
I think I had just had the baby. I think I started to talk to you guys while I was pregnant. I started to think I was crazy for trying to join something, like knowing the baby was coming. But it was like I was, in the class with like a truly like fresh baby, like maybe a 6-week-old baby. So yeah. Okay. And then it was like 12-week class. So the baby was, getting bigger as we go. So.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So basically just in case there's not another episode, and by the way, I'm going to comb through our archives. Oh my gosh, our archives of our podcast, and I'll link that podcast in the show notes if we have in fact interviewed Kristi. If not, let's give a 5-minute overview of why you joined the program. And for those that don't know, we help moms build a business. And so once you're a little bit more successful, you're closing 2 or 3 a month, and you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I need help. I can't do it all on my own. That's when we help moms build a micro team. And that's what Kristi came to us for. She needed more structure. She needed more time. She was going to have more babies. Little did we know, but she already had 3. And so that was the whole goal, I think, right? Was to reclaim your time with your family.
Yeah, definitely. I started my real estate career fresh out as a buyer's agent. So I started in 2016 and I milked that for a while, I say. I spent about 4 years as a buyer's agent and I did really good business, but I didn't have any ownership over it. I was just part of somebody else's team. And then in 2020, somebody else's team, by the way, was my mom. It was my mom's team. And so in 2020, my mom decided to leave our, brand name brokerage, and she started her own brokerage in 2020, like right when the world was going crazy. But little did we know it was a great year to start a brokerage, because business was like falling from the sky from then on, at least in our market it was. So I joined her brokerage with her, and that was when I pivoted into being a solo agent instead of being just on her team. So we still work hand in hand as like on a referral basis, but I'm not like strictly her buyer's agent anymore. So 2020 was kind of my pivot of when I decided, it wasn't even 2020, but that, that time as things started to settle and I could, get my head on straight after the chaos of like the 2021 year, of like, okay, what am I doing? I can't rely on, being a buyer's agent for income. I have quite a book of business that I'm not even tapping into for like 6 years worth of business. Like, what do I do? And so that's kind of, I guess, catches you up on where I am now. I'm a couple years into trying to get a little bit more organized and treat my business like a business. So.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So your mom is your broker and you were her buyer's agent as a team. I mean, even preceding the brokerage, and you really during that time got a lot of experience, but you were probably running around. As we know, buyer's agents are showing houses a lot, and that just didn't work with your lifestyle with having more kids, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so
being a buyer's agent at the beginning of the career is such a good way to get like a lot of experience right away. But, just like as everything, you evolve. So I feel like that's where, as life was getting cluttered with kids stuff, it was time to start building something for myself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know the beginning of coming to Mega Moms and the micro team program was just like, okay, how can I structure this, stay honoring of my mom, whom I love and respect, right? But it's like, she had her own way of doing things. She had sort of more of an old school because she's been in business for a while, and you were looking for, okay, let me automate some more things. Let me embrace maybe like a CRM and, what can I do to make this run in your style, in Kristi's style. So what was the biggest takeaway that you got from the micro team that you were able to implement in your business right away that really helped?
Yeah, I mean, the first aha is just like what can be delegated. I geeked out over the org chart, the organization chart, because seeing where my place was in the organization chart, I mean, I had to put my name in every single column and just be like, oh my God, no wonder I can't do this all, because this is realistically what could be 10 different people's jobs, And at first, of course, I couldn't hire 10 people. I still can't. I'm not at that point yet. But that was the biggest aha, was putting a role and a delegation, what are these responsibilities under this column? What are these responsibilities under that column? And seeing my name at the top of all of them was okay, I get it. I see the vision. I see the big picture here of one by one, who can I fit in elsewhere?
I love it. I love it. Okay. So then a pressing question, a lot of agents that are in the similar position as you is, who do I hire first? And my answer to that to my students is it's always different, but who did you hire first?
Yeah. So I will say, my mom and I, as we've always shared a transaction coordinator. That's just how we have always set it up. And now that she started her own brokerage, that's an office admin / transaction coordinator. So I know that doesn't cleanly fit into the org chart, but it's just how we run. And I do think the admin of getting the paperwork off of your own plate is a godsend. I love being able to click forward, somebody else answer that email, somebody else put this into the little chart that we have created. So that is all busy work in my mind. That's not serving the client to the best of my ability. So transaction coordinator number one.
Absolutely.
I love marketing. That's where I thrive. I love it. I can spend all day doing marketing. So the natural person for me to hire is I hired the marketing coordinator next. That was a little more like the transaction coordinator probably could have taken a lot of that, or, you know, a lot of those responsibilities, like doing my emails, doing my social media, things like that. But that is just where, you know, where I love that. So I can fill my entire day doing marketing. So I liked the thought of taking some of those things off my plate, because to me, that's a distraction for me because I love it. So yeah, that
interesting. And I think that that is a cool position for you to hire, because I think a lot of people would probably go the other way. They would think, okay, I love marketing, so I'm just going to pour myself in that.
Yeah.
But you decided your highest and best use was probably in the agency, and we can get to that in a minute. But like, what do you do? But I do think the benefit of what you ended up doing with hiring that marketing coordinator is you probably had a really clear vision and a really clear SOP and path for them, because you knew what you wanted.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's the first like task, the first SOP that I could complete. It took me like, 45 minutes to finish it. It was like, boom, boom, boom. Like people say, like, when do you do your business plan? And I look at my business plan, and my business plan is just a marketing plan. That's like what I just love it. That's where my part of, my personality shines, everything. So that is, I spend a lot of my time focused on my marketing, and I realized that needs to be somebody else's job, because that's not my job. I'm a realtor. Like I'm not an Instagram influencer,
Okay, so do you mind giving us a sneak peek at what your business/marketing plan is?
Sure. I mean, I feel like I need to get my org chart out. No. I mean, I do very much like what you taught with the pillars, and I create 5 pillars of what I focus on. But really, it's about like customer relationship building, know, like, and trust. My social media is definitely at the forefront of that. I'm not somebody who gets a lot of leads from social media. I get leads from my sphere, and I'm nurturing them on social media. So I post 5 days a week on Instagram. I'm posting every single day on my stories. I have I'm very dedicated to my email list. So I do a weekly email to anybody in my database that is not a past client. So not like somebody that I've transacted with. And then somebody who I transact with, I do a newsletter for them. That's on my email list. They also get to be added to my VIP group. So on Facebook, I have a monthly giveaway group. I think you maybe do something similar, right? Or have in the past. So every month I'm very dedicated to my VIP group, and I post a giveaway this week, but this month I'm giving away 90 of the full-size candy bars, just like the Costco boxes. So somebody's going to win those on Friday, and I've been doing that for years.
Are you giving it to 90 different people, or somebody gets 90 of them?
One person wins. It's a raffle.
What a smart idea. So then that's their setup for their Halloween trick-or-treat. I love that.
Halloween trick-or-treating is done for one family. I say, you get to be the cool family this year, giving away the full-size bars. And I don't do closing gifts. You go into my VIP group and have an opportunity to win something every month. Like that's what I do. Instead of like a closing gift, you're like, here's your invite into my VIP group. So
interesting, because we do our closing gifts, and I do think sometimes, especially if they transact with you multiple times, it's like, oh well, I'm not going to give them a sign again, and so here's a gift card. So I almost think so like there are some people in my clients, and I'm like, I have no idea what to get you. Maybe you're a seller and you're moving out of the area or whatever. Maybe it's a single bachelor, whatever. And we default to gift cards. So I like that idea. Just like, okay, you get added to the VIP group. Smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, for friends, I'll get them like something. Actually, my go-to gift is a bottle of Dom Perignon, because I feel like nobody gets that. Like, it's just like a special gift, but that's like truly for like my friends, like a good client. But other than that, I mean, the the person that you're like, I don't really know you that well. You're just my client. I mean, I want to have a relationship with you in the future, but it's probably going to stay a business relationship. Like what do you really get for that person?
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, follow-up question then to the marketing. We're going to spend a little time here because I think a lot of people will be interested and get some true value out of this. I love everything that you said about what you do with marketing, but then you hired this marketing coordinator. So can you walk us through how do they help you? What actually do they do? And what are you still doing within that department?
Yeah, so the team that I hired is helping me with Instagram mostly, and they also repurpose the content for TikTok and Facebook too. So essentially, I am going out in the world and filming all this content, and I'm giving it to them, and then they're putting it together, packaging it as a reel, and then they'll give me like 2 weeks of reels at a time, and they'll put it into Airtable with all the comments, and I'll click approve, disapprove, change this, change that, put my own flair on it. But really, they're packaging it in a way that, we've been working together for over a year now. So they've pretty much got me, like I don't need to put like a lot of energy into editing their stuff anymore. It took a couple cycles for me to get there, but they've kind of got my customer avatar at this point. But yeah, they're packaging my reels. I mean, we do have like a monthly meeting where we bounce ideas off of each other. But a lot of the time they're giving me a script, or they're sending me a link, and they're saying, copy this one, or do it in your own way for this one. So it's just a really nice thing to have when you're out of ideas. I mean, I think we all go through like ups and downs where you're mentally there and then you're not, or you're having a hard season, or you're just like, for instance, back to school is chaotic in my household. Like I don't have any energy to like create. Like my creativity is gone, and they were posting for me, and all I had to say is approve, So that's that. I will say sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a waste of money. And then you have like that season of my brain doesn't work, and you're like, thank you for being there for me.
Yes. So they primarily just handle posting, and that is in and of itself a huge blessing. But are they doing like emails as well, the newsletter? Are they doing those things?
I recently just pulled that from them because I'm going to be hiring a VA, and that's going to be a VA job. So they were doing my weekly emails up until recently, and my newsletter. And it's all very symbiotic. So in my weekly emails, like the very first chunk was always a link back to Instagram. So like something like a Talking Heads video always went, I mean, it still does. We're in a transition here. So it's Kristi doing it. So yeah, but that was a big help, enough so that I'm now continuing to do that and moving it. I'm shifting that over into a VA role.
Yeah, that's really smart. We do that with Mega Moms, and I'm working towards that with Heritage. And I guess kind of hopefully some inspiration or encouragement for those that are like, oh my gosh, my business is never going to be perfect like yours. Listen, my business is still a work in progress. I figured out the map, but you are still dealing with people, and you're human. You're still going to experience ups and downs in your life, just like Kristi said. So for me, I'm still working on refining our marketing. And Definitely. But point being, with Mega Moms, what I do is the podcast. This is what we have become it's like you got to figure out what's that one thing that you can do that's going to be repurposed and trigger the rest of it. And what else, can you do? So for my team, They repurpose this into reels. They repurpose this into a blog post. They also do emails. So like, this is where I have to show up. I show up here and I show up in coaching, and that's it. And so with real estate, what you're saying is you're gathering all the content, you're loading it somewhere, they're creating the reel, and then they're using that inspiration, and now you are in your emails. I think that is brilliant.
Yes. Yeah. So I'd say like my hub is Instagram, and then that content is being pushed out elsewhere. I've even used some of my listing videos. You know, if you get a listing video from your photographer and it's like, 60 seconds to 90 seconds long, I'll snip that into different reels and I'll use that as a reel. And then that reel is now the reel that goes on YouTube or the email list, instead of the full, 60 to 90 seconds. Nobody's watching that anymore. People are watching 15 seconds. Yeah. So that is like a really good way. My center, I'd say, is Instagram, whereas yours is the podcast, it sounds like, of where you repurpose everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing Instagram as well, but it's been so nice to have someone, and everything's a work in progress. So that may shift. It may shift.
Absolutely. And I mean, trends shift. So, I mean, from abundance, they were like all talking about TikTok. And to be honest, I always like my girls do TikTok. Like, I have it on my phone, but every month they're like, so your TikTok's doing very well. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about TikTok. I forgot I'm on TikTok. So.
Well, that's the nice thing about being able to repurpose is you can kind of hit the platforms, all platforms. And I think your organic or your platform of origin, like yours is Instagram, is always going to do better because you're going to curate to that platform, to that audience, to that modality. But then you can repurpose and you're not just totally losing out. So, and by the way, you have your VA and your marketing, but just so everyone else knows, there is an app that you can use called repurpose.io, and it can kind of automatically set those things up, which is pretty cool. You can set the connections of, okay, when I post this, it's going to go these 5 other places.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I had a follow-up question. Oh, and so you actually answered it already. My question was, or my thought was, okay, what are you putting in this email that you're sending out to everyone? So you're sending out basically a version of your post and video. So I love it. Okay. So what is your, do you mind answering a question of how much do you pay? Because that's another pressing concern that a lot of people have. How do I know how much to pay them? So what is your, how does that look?
Sure. So I just pay a monthly flat fee for the marketing girls. That I pay them $1,500 a month, and they take care of all of that stuff. My transaction coordinator is bundled, so that's a little different because that's bundled within my fees, my office fee. I do have a showing agent we haven't touched on. I pay her $500 a month on retainer, which is like a silly retainer, but I call it like her gas money. And then I give her 10% of any deals that she's part of. And that's pretty much it. And then my VA they're training, so I haven't started paying them, but that'll be a monthly fee.
Awesome. And then did you go to different companies? I mean, outside of the showing agent, did you go to sounds like you're not training the VA. You didn't train the marketing person. You found someone. So how did you go about finding those companies?
So I will say I got really lucky with the marketing girls because I say God gave me this gift, this big gift. There was a team in Chicago that they're in the process of splitting up. So I knew a transaction coordinator, actually a listing coordinator on their team, who actually reached out to me because we were friends from lives past. And she said, my team is splitting up and all these people need jobs. Do you have a job for me? And her job, she didn't want full time because I was like, girlfriend, I cannot. I will do whatever I can to hire you, but I couldn't do it full time at that time. And she's like, that's fine. I've been run to the ground. This team is a very, very top producing team in Chicago. And she just wanted something small and to get back on her feet and to get her liking real estate again, right? So I hired her, and then I hired the marketing girls out of that real estate office. So because of that kind of fell in my lap. They created their own business, so they work with other realtors, the marketing team. But so that's, that was just, I had to say yes because it fell in my lap. And that has really been a game changer to my business because I got insight on how, like, a really top team that I'm not even close to, like, how do they do things, So,
that's awesome.
So that's not really the traditional way, but, I do feel like that was something that when it came to me, I had to grab it.
Yeah. And I think that for the moms that are like, I don't know what I'd have them do, that's a great option when you don't have the SOPs and you don't have the map, even though, Kristi, you did. But it's not a bad idea to hire a third party. I've been really letting people know in the course, just because there's all of these different departments and all of these different tasks, it doesn't mean you have to hire an actual person that's going to be full-time working for you. It just means you need someone to own that position, own what's going to happen. It might be that you, like, for example, on my team, I also hire a third-party company that's helping with marketing, and it's Fusion Growth Partners. And I'm happy to, in fact, I'll put that in the show notes. There's a referral link that I can send over, and it's very all-inclusive. I mean, it includes like ads, and it has a whole CRM, and just there's a lot that goes into it. So they do that, but the person that's in charge of making sure it happens is physically here. They're physically in my office. So they may not have to post on Instagram or post on Facebook or do the Facebook ad, but they have to make sure that the person that we've hired in that role is going to do it. And that takes it off of my shoulders. It's something I don't have to think about. So anyway, I think that's brilliant what you're doing. And I love
there's definitely something to hiring, a company to do it over you trying to figure it out, especially if you have a lot on your plate. So for me, I mean, maybe one day, I always say, like, I'd love to have an in-house marketing company, an in-house marketing agency work just for our brokerage because I love marketing. That's like my dream. If I'll ever do it, I don't know, but I don't have the time right now. So it's like a package deal. It's done for me. I feel good about it. We work well together. Check, Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about time. So you've hired these positions and you gave us an overview of the different positions you have. So where do you exist in your business? What do you show up for and what do you own? And how many hours on average are you working weekly? And we should probably also mention your production just so people can kind of, relate that to themselves. And I'm talking transactions. I mean, you can talk volume as well, but
yeah. I hit anywhere between like 25 and 35 homes a year. So it's still in that 2 to 3, sometimes 4 a month if it's a good month. So it's not like a crazy number. But yeah, do you want to talk about like a typical amount of hours or?
Yeah, typical hours, but also what are you doing? What is your role in your business? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my role in the business is to get the business, I'd say. So I spend a lot I have young kids, so my day doesn't even start until they're out the door, 8:30. And then I am trying to get the business. So I'm making sure that all the machine is working to like the emails are going out, the people are being contacted, but I'm not necessarily the ones doing that. That's kind of automated. I put it in my calendar to go to events. So things, even social, even mom's nights, like that's a very important part of my business, because that's how I get the business. And at this point, I do just kind of oversee the transactions, to make sure that, everything is running smoothly. But I will say appointments, I don't really go on a lot of appointments. I do show houses, but I'd say listing appointments is not something I do in my business. I more have people that say, come list my house. That's the kind of clientele that I have. So I'm not the girl that you'll like see doing 100 listing appointments a year. I don't go really on listing appointments. Every listing I have, they just say, come list my house. So, go
over like, here's what I think you should list it for. Here's my process. I would call that an appointment, Kristi.
It is a listing appointment, but it's not like it's mine to lose. You know what I mean? Like I do have to prepare. So I'm not doing like an insane amount of volume. I'm selling about 28, 30-ish. And I'd say about a third of those are listings, like 10 to 12 are listings. So I'm going on only 10 appointments a year. So it's not like I'm booking myself crazy with appointments all day. I'm working in front of my computer from like 8:30 to noon. And then, I may have some showings in the afternoon. I may not. I may be at an event. I spend a lot of time in front of people. That's more what I'm doing for the business. On Wednesdays, I block my calendar for content. Like I said, I give my marketing agency videos. So that means I'm filming stupid things where I'm trying to repeat the words, or I'm walking down a street, this angle, that angle. I'm going around to different towns and getting content. So, there are some things that I block out on my calendar, but I'm pretty much done by like 2:30. That's school pickup for the day. And then I spend my weekends showing houses, open houses. I still do that, but, to me, open houses is getting the clients. So that's still important to me. I do pretty well at open houses. So I like being the face.
And they're coming back, Yeah. I think the popularity and necessity for open houses is here again.
Yes.
So I love that. Okay. Well, I thank you for sharing that. I think that that's probably really inspiring to some moms. Like that sounds like a very doable schedule. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound crazy and overwhelming. Obviously, you were doing all the things before, so now you have help and you get to literally do what you love. And that for you, you enjoy the networking, you enjoy the events. You probably are on, I'm assuming, like some charity stuff, and you're busy doing those things, and that is so important. So important.
Yeah. That's where the business is coming from too. So it's important to be there because it fills my cup, but it also fills my pipeline. So
yeah. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, girl. This has been such a great episode, and I've really enjoyed getting to hear more about your business. I think we said you have 4 kids, and what are their ages?
6, 4, 22 months, and 4 months.
Oh my gosh. So you are definitely a busy mom. You are a mega mom, and you are living the dream right now. And I know that doesn't mean your life is perfect. Like, I want everyone to know that Kristi has ups and downs, we all do. But I think that this has helped make things a lot more manageable for you.
Definitely. It's been really crucial for me to have some organization amongst the chaos. That's what I say. So that's really the only way to succeed, I think, with the little ones, always at your foot. So how can someone reach out to you if they have a referral for Chicago area? And you can kind of explain like where specifically you serve. Yeah, anywhere in Chicago, you can hit me up because I have a lot of resources. I know a lot of realtors here, so feel free to reach out to me. Instagram is a great place. It's just my name, Kristi Gorski. And then, you can always email me or, text also. But anywhere in Chicago, connect with me. But my specific home is west of the city, so the western suburbs of Chicago.
Cool. And then last question, what would you say to someone who is thinking about pulling the trigger from going from solo to the micro team? And beyond that, what would you say about using the Mega Mom micro team course as a fast track?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason to reinvent the wheel because it's handed to you. So if you're thinking about doing it, if you want some organization and like a very quick path forward, don't try to do it yourself. Just plug in, do the work. And I think my eyes were opened to like how easy it could be to build the life I want without like having to hustle more hours. So
yes, absolutely. I love that. All right, Kristi, have a great day. And moms, don't forget to create the life and the business that you love.